Okay, quick music disclaimer here. I do not own the rights to this music, which belongs to the rightful owner, who is the intoxicating mind of Dr. Frankenstein. So he made my intro and my outro, and I hope you guys enjoy. Check them out on Spotify and YouTube, and no copyright infringement is intended. Have a good day.
A clear choice of good versus evil, of right versus wrong.
Twisted Tales.
I'm Sam Rossi.
And I'm AJ Carey.
Join us every Wednesday as we summarize and discuss true crime on Killing 15 Minutes.
That's right, 15 minutes or less on some sick puppies, serial killers, and criminals. Every Wednesday.
I write it, AJ reads it. Available on all major audio platforms.
And please follow us on all major social media outlets as well.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Alright, so sorry for the little bit of delay here between episodes and everything. I've just been really busy with work. I mean, life has fucked me around as well once or thrice, so nothing I can't handle though. And I thank you all for sticking with me. It's wicked appreciated. So my next case that I'm going to present to you here, it's going to be about the French family murders. Now this is up from around North Carolina way, up in Reidsville. So this one's a viewer requested episode here. This is for my buddy Alex Kenschel. He's a musician here. He's on Spotify. So if you get a chance, go check his tunes out. Give him a follow. And he's got some pretty solid stuff. Now he gave me this case a few months ago, and I finally got around to checking it out the last few days. Now this tale here is going to revolve around a double homicide of a couple. Now their names are Douglas Troy French and his wife, LaDonna Ann Mosley French. So LaDonna was born December 21st, 1966, and she lived to be 45 years old. And Troy was born December 20th, 1963, and he lived to be 48 years old. So the couple lived at 791 Pinewood Road. This is up in Rockingham County, North Carolina. Cool little spot here. Has a population of some 9,200. So historically, the economy around North Carolina was largely based around tobacco, like every stage of production of tobacco, from tobacco growing to like the final product manufacturing. Tobacco is just a really big thing in North Carolina, and this state has to be one of the centers of the U.S. tobacco industry. North Carolina ranks first in the U.S. in its production. Besides that, though, there's a bunch of historical and natural sites around here. There's the Hitchcock Creek Trail, JoJo's Haunted House, Castlewood Park, Fountain Park, just to name a few. Doug and LaDonna met back in high school. This was at Rockingham County High. This is back in the 1980s. So Troy was a junior at the time, and LaDonna was a freshman. Now the two were friends, as Troy was dating another girl at the time, but didn't really work out with those two there. They broke up. And Troy and LaDonna had started hanging out a lot more, being friends and whatnot, and eventually the two became close. So they became high school sweethearts. Now this was around the junior year in 1981. Now LaDonna was a cheerleader. She had strawberry blonde hair. She played a bit of softball, some other sports. Troy was also very popular amongst his peers here. He was also into sports. He enjoyed basketball, baseball, all that stuff. Now, Rockingham County High School is a school up in Reidsville, North Carolina. It's located at 180 High School Road, and the school was established back in 1952. Now, there's actually like 23 schools in that area here, and it teaches over 11,000 students. So, little fun facts, I guess. Now, Reidsville has a population of like 15,000 people. It's a relatively quiet town, and the couple were actually well known and very well liked by hundreds of folk there. LaDonna was born and raised in Rockingham County. Now, Rockingham and Reedsville aren't like really far from each other. It's like a 20-minute drive away, like a 13-kilometer distance or so. After graduation, Troy ended up getting a career in the Navy. He spent some time up in Norfolk, Virginia, and then he served as an air traffic controller. Now, even though the couple spent some time apart, they actually made it work, because that's what couples do, right? And the couple married August 12th of 1985. Now, Troy was pretty big into the Navy here, like the whole air traffic controller thing was a pretty big deal. Now, some of the duties that he would do while on base would include like operating radio communication systems, light signaling, interpreting data shown on radar screens. This would be able to plot aircraft positions, stuff like that. He would manage the flow of aircrafts into and out of the airport. A couple other things that he would do, like he'd guide pilots during takeoff and their landings. He would monitor them as they flew through the skies and everything. So usually he would spend most of your time up there in the control tower. I mean, you'd work a lot. You'd work a lot of rotating shifts. There'd be nights, there'd be weekends, different shit like that. So to become an air traffic controller, you need a bachelor's degree from the Air Traffic Collegiate Training Initiative program. Say that 10 times fast. And you also need to have some experience in this field. Now the annual wage for this as of 2023 is actually like 137,000 a year. So it was obviously pretty good coin even back then. So over time, LaDonna would start working with Shapiro's Eye Care. So she was a patient service advocate. Now in her spare time, she was a pianist for the Reedsville Bible Chapel. So once Troy was discharged from the Navy, he went home to be with his woman. And then he started working for Duke Energy, because he didn't want to go back and help the family with the tobacco fields and all that shit. So Duke Energy is one of America's largest holding companies. Serves more than 8.4 million customers in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, India, Ohio, and Kentucky. So it's a pretty big company. Now, they also own approximately 54,800 megawatts of energy capacity, and its natural gas section serves like 1.7 million customers or something around that area. And Troy actually enjoyed his job here at Duke Energy. Like, he had his own crew truck. This was a white F-150, unit number 22238, and he put in 22 years of service at the company. Now, Troy worked very hard here. He was very detailed, meticulous, and he just loved his work. He loved his life, and he was always providing for his family. This is what his coworkers had said about him. With Troy working a lot here at Duke Energy, the time that he had off, he would just spend with LaDonna. Now, the two made the decision to start a family here, and in 1992, the couple had a daughter, who they named Whitley. Now, 5 years later, they had a son. His name was Hunter. He was born in 1997. So they started their family on a piece of family-owned land. And the couple just loved living in their tight-knit community here. There were great people around. They had lots of extended family members also living in the area, so anytime they needed anything, they would help. Now, Troy loved his sports, his movies, and eventually he got his son Hunter into baseball. So the two parents spent a lot of time and money in both their kids' hobbies over the years. Now, the family never missed any event, whether it be a birthday, family supper, or LaDonna's parents' 50th wedding anniversary. Troy had even taken part in like some Sunoco auto events here, so he was a crew chief. Now, this is kind of like a racing and all that, like motorsports partnerships and stuff. So Sunoco is a company in the fuel industry. Now, they were like sponsors and everything in the Sports Car Club of America. From 1995 to 1997, Sunoco was the primary sponsor of the ST Motorsports number 47 Chevrolet. This was driven by a dude named Jeff Fuller. So they had like their own little cars, they'd do their racing and shit, and they'd sponsor stuff. And like I said, the French family had a love for sports, right? The family were just very well known, and they played a huge part in their community. Now, the French family house, pretty nice place. They had a double driveway. Another spot there to the right was to park a few more cars. It was just a decent amount of land. Had a few tree lines and shit. This was built in 1997, so it was a 2.5-acre lot, and it was actually gifted by LaDonna's parents. Now, Whitley also loved to play sports. She played soccer, volleyball, basketball, and Hunter, he was a big fan into swimming. So he joined up like the Boy Scouts, he would go to swim meets, all that stuff. And the two kids were just doing really well in their schooling because both of them had went to Rockingham County High School, which is like a 5.1 mile drive from Reedsville, so it's like a 9-minute drive away. Not very far at all. And this was the same high school that their parents had went to. Now, it was here that Whitley had started seeing a boy named John Alvarez, and the two started dating. Now, the parents, they didn't really like John. And funny thing here, John's family didn't overly like Whitney. But I mean, the two were in love, so both families just dealt with it. Now, Whitley's family had wanted her to go to the college at Eastern Carolina University, or ECU for short. So this is a public university up in Greenville, North Carolina. So this college is like separated into three distinct campuses here. So they have like the main campus, there's the health science campus, and the West Research campus here. Plus, it has like two sports complexes, the Blount Recreational and the North Recreational Sports Complex. So it's a pretty big school. But unfortunately, her parents disagreed to this because they wanted her to go to UNC, which is the University of North Carolina. Now, UNC wasn't too far of a distance away, it was like an hour's drive, and ECU was almost a 3-hour distance here. Plus, her family was like pretty big fans of UNC anyway. This is where they wanted her to go. But unfortunately, things in life don't always happen like that, right? But, I mean, Whitley ended up choosing to go to ECU. This was in January of 2012. The only reason is because she wanted to be close to her boyfriend, John. And although her parents didn't really much care for the idea, they did help her with like her tuition. They set her up with like furniture for her apartment and stuff. I believe they helped with that as well. This was just to help get her set up. So Whitley was taking a nursing program here at the college. But a little bit after this, the parents started talking to the other family members here, and they started to rethink that they shouldn't be paying for all this, right? Because most college students get their loans and other such finances to help them with college fees and stuff, right? Now, Whitley wasn't too keen on hearing her folks talk about, like, not wanting to help her out financially and everything, because they just purchased a new car here, which she kind of mentioned, right? It's like, well, you bought a new car, why can't you help me with this shit, right? And plus, they were putting her brother through a baseball academy, which I'm sure costs, a couple bucks. But the car that they bought here was from the Nissan dealership here on Freeway Drive up in Reedsville. So she was going to talk to them about the whole finance situation here when she got some time off. And she wanted to speak about her relationship with John. So this would be on her next trip home from college. Like, even tuition fees are nuts, to be honest. Like, it's pretty expensive. I believe for North Carolina, it's like $26,000 or more. And that's if you're an in-state student. So for an out-of-state student, it's anywhere from like 56,000 to 60,000. But to get in-state tuition, you actually had to be a resident of North Carolina for, I believe, a 12-month period. And honestly, I think she was just a little bit pissed off because they spent money on her little brother to go to like baseball academy and stuff, right? And baseball academy, it's like pretty top-notch shit too. Like it has state-of-the-art facilities. They offer up shit like elite coaching positions, guided training, throwing and hitting programs, stuff like that. So Friday, February 3rd, Whitley had some time off from college. So this was on a Friday, so it would have been a weekend. So she made plans to come home. Now she came home. This was her very first visit home from college. Now her brother Hunter, he was out of town practicing a swim meet. So swim meet is like a competition that's hosted by certain swim clubs and stuff. So these guys have the opportunity to race each other in various events. These are organized by swimming organizations. So when you're competing against a team, you'll actually earn your overall place in each of these events, and the team with the most points wins the event. So that's how these swim meet things work. Now, Hunter was competing for the Rockingham County High School. This took place up in Goldsboro. This is about a 2 hour and 20-minute drive from the home. Now, Troy was going to go up the next day, and he was going to watch his son compete, just to support his son, right? The family were pretty gung-ho with sports. So Whitley and LaDonna were going to stay behind so they could spend the day together hanging out. So when Whitley got home from college, she first visited her grandmother here, and then went on over to her folks for supper. So they caught a boys and girls basketball game. It was about a 12-minute drive away from the home there because they went to the school. And when it was all said and done, the family got home around 10:30 p.m. Whitley went upstairs to her bedroom just to wind down, watch some Netflix in her room, and then she was going to fall asleep. I mean, who doesn't want to do that, right? So Whitley's parents went to bed in their bedroom. This is located downstairs, and this is on the left side of the stairway. So Whitley woke up at 1:30 a.m. to get up. The place was quiet, so everybody was still sleeping at the time. And then she went right back to sleep. Now, soon after Whitley was kind of half asleep, she detected the presence of somebody in the house. She actually heard a creaking of the floorboard, so somebody was walking and they stepped on the floorboard and it made a noise. So this woke her up, and then all of a sudden, there was a person on top of her, and then they covered her mouth to stop her from screaming. And then this didn't work, so he pulled out a knife during the struggle. In the struggle, she was actually cut on her upper left arm, and once the intruder realized that she wouldn't stop screaming, he ran out of the room to escape. Parents heard Whitley's screams, so they woke up and they were like, what the fuck is going on? So both of them now were waiting at the bottom of the staircase. The intruder ran out of the room, he put his knife away, and he pulled out a 9mm handgun, and he used it to shoot the couple. Now, as he pulled the gun out, Whitley was coming out of the room behind him, just to kind of chase him, see who the hell it was, right? And Troy watched as his wife got shot first. She was shot in her left wrist, because she threw up her hands in defense. She was shot in the right shoulder, and just above her heart, around the left chest, which actually knocked her down. But she was actually standing for the first couple shots. The intruder had finished her off with a final gunshot to the right side of her head at close range. And this would be the shot that killed her. Now, LaDonna was shot for a total of 5 times, and then fell face first by the front doorway entrance. Now, Troy was behind LaDonna. He watched her be riddled with bullets. The intruder then pointed the gun at Troy and shot him in the chest. So as Troy had laid there in pain with a bullet in him, the shooter then let off another round into his back. Now he turned towards Whitley, who was directly behind him, and then he didn't shoot, he took off, and he ran. He pushed LaDonna's lifeless body away from the door, and then he escaped down the front porch into the night. This was after he actually unlocked the door. And now Troy was lying there. He was shot, and he was laying by the island in the kitchen here. So, a kitchen island here, it's like a freestanding cabinet or a countertop you can use for like storing pots and pans, containers, shit like that. Use it to meal prep and whatnot. So this is where Troy was laying injured. Now, the hooded intruder was gone rather quickly. It was dark, it was hard to see who it was. And after this, Whitley ran to her room, she grabbed the phone, and she made a call to 911. So she spoke with 911 dispatch, she told them about the incident, and then they sent police right away. Now, Whitley's father was still breathing during the call here, but he was gurgling on blood. And then Whitley performed CPR on him. Now, she didn't notice that her mother wasn't moving or anything like that because everything had happened so fast. And Whitley, being trained in CPR, tried to help her father because she was totally certified in this area. CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So this is an emergency procedure consisting of chest compressions combined with artificial ventilation, or mouth-to-mouth as it's referred to. Now, this is an effort used to manually preserve intact brain function in a person who is unresponsive and not breathing, or if they have abnormal breathing. Now, the 911 dispatch sent police, he sent medical services, everybody was on their way to the home now. And around the end of the call here, he used the code 1067 for the two parents. Now, this would mean a report of death. So he would also keep the recording for future evidence. And this call came in at 2:12 a.m. Both Troy and LaDonna died from their injuries sometime during this 911 call shortly after 2 a.m. Police got there about 11 minutes after she placed the phone call. Now, there was another sheriff that was in the area here. He was off duty. He heard the whole thing go down here, so he went over to check since he knew the French family. So he got in, he talked to Whitley, and then other officers and the emergency services came to the door. So Whitley Morgan French was taken to the Ann Penn Hospital for treatment. This was for a minor cut in her arm. She was taken in around 2:40 a.m. Now, she also had a burn mark on her chest, and this was never mentioned anywhere I looked online, and it was just never talked about. Now, she described the intruder as being a man dressed in all dark clothing, and then these two injuries, and gave the report to police. So, Whitley told police about the night's events, how she stopped off at her grandmother's, had supper with her parents, the high school game, everything like that. And then the family members who lived around the neighborhood thought there was like some kind of car accident or something, right? Because they seen all the flashing lights outside. So they came out to assist them. And unfortunately, it wasn't a car accident here, so how wrong they were. So the family started gathering around the house there, tried to get some information from police, but police couldn't really tell them too much. All the police did was mention that Whitley had been rushed to the hospital. So the family notified Hunter's teachers that had been with him at the swim meet. Troy's mom actually knew where he was, because she had plans to head up there with Troy that Saturday. So when the family called the teachers that were up at the swim meet here, they gathered up all the students, they took their phones, they gathered them up, and this would be so Hunter wouldn't find out about what happened from like social media, news updates, shit like that. And it was no way for a 14-year-old kid to find out about his parents' death. And some of the family members had went there to go get him actually after finding out the news from Whitley being at the hospital and everything, so they wanted to be the ones to break it to them themselves. And Whitley received 2 stitches from the injuries on her arm. All these injuries were reported and photographed by police. So now, the news of the crime was out. Police and reporters were now checking on the scene. Now, after police looked for clues, they did their investigation, they taped everything off. The house was given back to the family some 28 hours later. And a lot of people thought that this investigation was pretty fucking quick, because it was given back to the family here around 10 p.m., February 4th, 2012, so pretty much a whole 28-hour period. Police did find 5 drops of blood, which were around the staircase area. There was 1 on the stairway railing, and 4 located on the stairs. So this blood here wasn't from anybody in the family, which had meant it was from an outside source. Police gathered up their samples here. They ran blood tests, and they did this over a total of 65 times. They also found a spare key to the house. This was located under the deck here, because that's where the family kept their keys and shit. And they actually found some skin fragments on it. And they also found an empty gun box located up in the family home. Now, it's a little known fact here that the gun that was in this box had belonged to Troy, but he had been unable to find it here for quite some time. He told the family about the missing gun back in December of 2011, that his 9mm high-point gun was gone. Now, the gun that he owned, I actually looked up here, didn't really have any good reviews or anything like that. It mentioned that high points are very heavy and have bad triggers. The recoil impulse isn't that great due to its straight blowback. All the extra mass in its slide is required for them to function with like more powerful rounds like 9mm or 45 ACP or 10mm. Now ACP is actually short for automatic Colt pistol. And these handguns are just pretty fucking awkward and top heavy. So when police did the search in the house, they found the receipt for the purchase of the gun and other purchase info here confirming that this was Troy's missing handgun. So the time of death for LaDonna and Troy was around 2:12 a.m. This was around the time that Whitley called 911. Now the missing gun box, police found this actually was put away safely. Troy put it away after Troy caught his son and a buddy playing with it here at one point in time. And he put it away in a place that nobody knew about except for him. Police checked everything out here and they found out that there was no signs of a break-in to the home. Because usually somebody breaks in, they try to rob you, there's some reason for it, right? Now the gun that was used was a high-point 9mm pistol. It had a standard 8-shot. The barrel length is 3.5 inches, which is an average size. Overall length is 6.75 inches and weighs 29 ounces, which is about 1.8 pounds. So police even took surveillance tapes from a local store here. This is called McCollum's Hardware. This is located on Highway 158 in Rockingham County. The footage was recorded between 10 p.m. and midnight on February 3rd. Now this store is about a 9-minute drive from the family home for a 2-mile distance. It's like a hardware and grocery and whatnot. It has the Shell Company gas pumps, has a total of 4 gas pumps, and it also has everything you need to stock up during your travels. I'm assuming this tape was taken to see if there was any vehicles that had stopped around the area at the time, or if they had passed up and down along the road around the time of the murder. So police did their investigation. The bodies of Troy and LaDonna were taken to the morgue around 4 p.m. on February 4th, 2012. And police also removed some bullets here from a closet door. They also looked into Whitley's phone records. She made a few Facebook posts that day, like everybody does. She texted John that night. And police found out that her phone was turned off completely at 1:25 a.m. And then they found out a signal bounced off a cell tower here not far from her home, so this is probably about 7 miles away. During the course of the investigation here, police also had a demonstration on how the high-point gun is fired. Now, this was done from a dude named Tyrese Tatum. So he demonstrated all this here. He actually owns a place called Shooters up in Myodin, North Carolina. Now, Shooters Inc. is a concealed and carry training business. This is established back in 2004. And it was established out of need for proper handgun training. And this is up in Rockingham and the surrounding areas. Now, they travel all over the state of North Carolina. They train folk in like concealed carry law, sight eye dominance, proper hand grip, proper stance. And these guys go all around to like churches, clubs, first responders, school organizations, and other corporate groups. So they teach you proper handgun training here all around, and they actually do all this shit in one fucking day, while other trainers actually try to milk it out for a few more days and just to make more money off you guys, right? So these guys are straight to the point. Now they're located at 194 Wall Road up in Myodin, North Carolina. Once the news broke to everybody in town about the couple's murder, everybody was just distraught. I mean, these guys helped with the whole community, right? Everybody was just at a standstill here. They didn't know what to do. So police had to put in some work, and the family wanted answers as to what happened. The townsfolk would soon begin to gossip, come up with their own theories and shit like that on what happened in the murder case. They hung like yellow ribbons and stuff in memoriam of the couple. Police checked the blood that they found at the scene. they sent it away for analysis here. And they also linked the missing gun to someone who had ties to the family, because who else would know where Troy had hidden the gun, right? Unless they were snooping around or something. Now, Whitley was interviewed after the crime. Police thought that it was like a little bit weird that she couldn't tell them too much about the intruder. I mean, it was dark. He was wearing a hoodie. He had a mask. Everything happened so fast at the time. I mean, I'm sure she didn't even have time to think. Seeing both her parents being shot would be such a traumatic event for anybody. Now, police also made her reenact the struggle between her and the intruder a couple of times throughout this investigation. They also interrogated her boyfriend, John, see if they can get any answers out of him. So after police did the investigation here, they gave the house back to the family, because the police were done here, right? They're like, well, we got everything we needed here. If we need anything, we'll come back. We'll talk to you. Now, February 5th, Donald Mosley, Kathleen Mosley Hayes, and 4 friends had helped clean up the house here. Now, they had a closet door there that had some bullet holes in it and stuff. They gave this to a neighbor here, which he burned. He actually used as firewood. Now, February 7th, the French and Mosley families had a visitation at Reedsville Christian Church. And on February 8th, around 3 p.m., there was a funeral held for the couple. Now, the couple were then buried at Sharon Baptist Church. So police gave the family some time to grieve and deal with the funeral arrangements and all that shit. But after this, they went back to the house here just to do some backtracking and see if they missed anything. So when they returned, they realized that the closet door was gone, that they gave it to the neighbor here, and he used it as firewood, like I said. I'm not sure why they actually gave that to him, but, they were cleaning up the house. It was their option to clean up everything, and what they did with their stuff is their stuff, I guess. Now, the family didn't want the kids to come home back to the house here looking like it was. I mean, blood all around, whatever else, from the murders. So police came back here off and on. They did another search of the house there. This was a few days later, February 15th. Then, at another time here, February 28th, they went back. They got Troy's wallet, LaDonna's purse, a couple other things. And over the course of the investigation, the FBI had gotten involved. So they enhanced copies of Whitley's 911 call. They took photos of Whitley's injuries just to determine how well they had healed. And sometime later here, a little bit of time has passed, October 12th, 2012, police held a press conference about the handgun here, and that Whitley, Hunter, and John were actually eliminated as suspects. And Whitney, I believe, was questioned about 5 different times over the years throughout all this. But over the next couple months here, police didn't really get anywhere else with the investigation here, and the case ended up kind of hitting a wall. Now, the family and the community here kind of hung up their ribbons and whatnot, like I said. The family hung up blue wreaths outside their homes, and they would only take them down once this whole crime was solved. But fortunately, it didn't look like it would be any time soon. The community and police investigators actually tried to get some reward money together here. This was on January 2nd, 2013. They called this the French Family Irrevocable Trust Fund. Now, the sheriff on duty here, Sheriff Page, he actually sent a letter to the governor. This was at the time Bev Perdue, and asked for a $5,000 reward as the case was starting to go cold. So he did this in hopes that the $5,000 reward would entice somebody to come forward with some information. Now, Whitley and John were found to have nothing to do with the murders here. This is from the DNA evidence that they sent away. On January 23rd, 2013, the governor actually okayed the request for the $5,000 reward. So this was offered up just to see if they could speed things up. Now, as time passed, police ended up doing a few polygraphs. Now, this did include some of the family here, because they just wanted to be sure that they had nothing to do with this and they could rule them out. Now, this was around the summer of 2014, so by now, 2 years or so have passed. So the blood tests and everything that they did here, like with the DNA evidence and all that, they had found that Whitley's boyfriend, John Alvarez, is somehow related to the DNA that was found at the scene. Uh-oh. So they took swabs from John's father, Jose Alvarez Sr., and his older brother, John Silvano Alvarez Jr. The North Carolina State Crime Laboratory produced a full DNA, presumably of the perpetrator here, as it matched none of the friends or the family who had frequented the home. Now this included Whitley, her brother, and her boyfriend at the time. Now the DNA also did not match a profile in any DNA database, including CODIS. Traditional forensic DNA analysis could only tell investigators that the perpetrator was male. So they were running short on leads. Investigators began collecting DNA samples from anybody who would have been in or around the French home, the boyfriend's family and stuff here, because there would have been an early chance that someone could have been connected to the crime here. So they did a swab on a bunch of people here. I believe there was over 50 subjects that had consented to provide a DNA sample, but none of these samples matched the perpetrator. So the first break in the case came when the familial DNA evidence was performed here at the University of North Texas. This revealed that the possibility of the perpetrator might be related to John Alvarez, Whitley's boyfriend. Subsequently, scientists at the University of North Texas performed Y chromosome STR analysis. So these tests here are whether two male DNA samples share a common paternal lineage. Now this analysis, however, showed that the perpetrator did not share a YSTR lineage with John Alvarez. Seemingly, this also eliminated John's father here and his brother as suspects. But when they did the photo phenotyping and all that, they got a snapshot of the perpetrator here. It kind of had family DNA here, so like I said, it looked like John and his brother Jose Alvarez. John Alvarez had mixed ancestry, but DNA analysis had ruled him out as a suspect, and the YSTR analysis indicated that the perpetrator did not share a paternal lineage with John. They had the snapshot prediction for the case and everything. This was highly consistent with John's brother, Jose Alvarez Jr. The phenotype predictions and everything suggested that they shouldn't eliminate Jose as a suspect, despite the YSTR results. So the likeliness of like the snapshot composite here, they even found like his driver's license photograph. It looked very similar. So within a few weeks of this like snapshot report and everything here, Jose Alvarez Jr. and his father both consented to be swabbed. Now traditional DNA analysis had proved beyond all doubt that the blood on the stairwell in the French home had come from Jose Alvarez. It also showed everybody that was a surprise here that Jose Alvarez was not his biological father. So this is the reason why the YSTR tests didn't match. Now this case highlights the limitations of traditional DNA analysis, as nearly all the information needed to solve the case was present in the blood sample that was left at the scene. But, with DNA analysis, like the familial comparison, the YSTR analysis, the DNA phenotyping. So since these guys were all males, it was the Y chromosome that they found around the crime scene here. So the Y chromosome here is only found in males, so they looked at the male side of the family. Now the female chromosome is actually XX, and this wasn't the type of blood that they found at the scene. So what police did now was some DNA phenotyping. What this refers to is an individual's observable traits, such as like height, their eye color, blood type, shit like that. So a person's phenotype is determined by both their genomic makeup and environmental factors. Now this is an expensive feature here. I believe departments pay like anywhere from $4 to $5 grand for this. So they use this DNA here to create a picture of the suspect. So that's what they did. And on May 7th, 2015, this picture ended up coming back, and it had a close resemblance to John and Jose Alvarez. So then police took DNA from Jose. The police went and seen him. So this is about 5 days before things were being set up and planned for Whitley and John's wedding. Now the couple were getting ready to be married and all that. So the only blood left was Jose Jr.'s. Now, with the difference in blood here, police found out that Jose Sr. wasn't the father of Jose Jr. So Jose Jr. had a different father here, and Jose Sr. wasn't the biological father. Now, the DNA from Jose Jr. and the blood of the crime scene had been a perfect match, so police could finally now make an arrest. So Jose Jr. was arrested without incident. He kept his mouth shut here until police had showed him the DNA evidence here, then he folded like a fucking lawn chair here and started changing his tune. Jose Alvarez Jr. was arrested up in Greensboro here, and he was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, and he was held without bond in Rockingham County Jail. So Jose was the older brother of Whitley's boyfriend, so I mean he was good friends of the family and everything. They were setting up the wedding, all that. I mean, it's got to be a shock, because I mean you're sitting there, you're helping plan the wedding, you're being nice and everything all the time. You knew that you killed her parents. I mean, that's got to be a fucked up thing. So a little about Jose here. So he was born February 1987. His mother had to have an emergency C-section as his umbilical cord actually wrapped around his neck. So this happened 2 weeks after his parents had gotten married, and then the kid was born. So he was raised in Stokesdale, North Carolina, with his 3 younger brothers. His parents actually owned a successful landscaping company, and he was never raised any differently than his brothers. Now, Jose Alvarez Sr. had no idea that Jose Jr. wasn't his kid. He literally found out when police took their DNA and got back the results and everything, because they were 2 different blood types and shit. Now, the mother didn't say one word about this, and that's why the YSRT test had failed to identify him as a suspect earlier on. Now, we found out they weren't related when all the tests came back, and obviously I'm sure that's going to put a wrench into the relationship going forward. So Jose, growing up, he was a quiet kid. He had a normal childhood. The family moved around a little bit here when he was younger, but it was always around the North Carolina area. He attended 3 different elementary schools, Rockingham Middle School, and then Rockingham High School, where he then graduated from. This was the same high school that Whitley had met John Alvarez at, and then they had begun their relationship. So as a kid, Jose said he would lose track of time every so often here and not be able to remember stuff that happened when it did this. So he also had a baseball injury here that resulted in a concussion. So after high school, he enrolled in North Carolina State College to study veterinarian medicine, but he dropped out after 1 year. Now, the reason why he did this is because he had a problem focusing, and relationships with his friends had kind of dwindled out, and he became a bit of a loner. But I mean, he did pretty kick ass at his landscaping job. He started retreating into this fantasy world here in between. Now, after his arrest and everything, he was diagnosed with emotional immaturity and severe anxiety after the murder. So it came to light that Alvarez had quite the fascination with the French family home. He found the address off of Whitley's driver's license here. She was over at the family home one day at John's, and she left her wallet on the counter here, so he went snooping through it. So this is where he got her address from. So then he kind of grew this fascination with the French family home. He would go by, he'd drive by it, he'd snoop around and shit. And he kind of got intrigued while walking around the home here, like the different scents of like trees and scents of laundry, like from the dryer vent and stuff. So when they had the laundry going, he would smell their vents and stuff. He actually told police here that he did this at other people's homes while pulling landscaping duty. So since he lived in this whole fantasy world here that he got himself created into, it ended up getting him into a lot of shit here, because he used this fantasy world as a means of escape from everyday stress. Now, certain responsibilities and whatever else here will kind of be overwhelming to him, So this was his escape here. Now this is called escapism, and it's a deeply integrated part of human psychology. So what this does is provides the person a safe haven from the trials and tribulation of the real world. It allows them to temporarily detach from their problems, their worries, their stresses, all that. It's a temporary escape into a fictional universe. Sort of like a mental vacation, I guess. So when we immerse ourselves into this alternate realities here, you experience a sense of wonder, excitement, curiosity, and in turn, this can help us reset, rejuvenate, and have like a sort of therapeutic effect on you. And if you spend too long here, it becomes unhealthy. You can start neglecting your real world problems and stuff. But if approached thoughtfully, it can offer solace and emotional release. Now, if you're this guy and you dive too deep, you'll actually just fucking crash and burn here faster than Goose and Top Gun. Now, the whole smelling thing, this kind of piqued his curiosity. Around August 11th, this is when he started entering the home here, so it became wicked more ballsy. So the key that he found, this was under the deck. Now, this guy was a landscaper. He kind of knew where people would hide their spare keys and shit. I guess he just lucked out here. So we got a couple copies of this key made here. He put the original back in place, and this actually left the skin fragments on the original key. Now he spent 5 to 10 minutes in the house at a time. He did this when the family was home. He'd actually be like wicked careful here. He would watch them as they slept, and this actually gave him a bit of a thrill. Now, the guy had a decent family and everything. Like, I don't know, it was just weird how he drew up to this whole fantasy world here. He was actually drawn to Hunter's room because of all his, like, sports trophies and other sports achievements and stuff. And then, of course, he had to check out Whitley's room. And that night of the murder, the floorboard creaked, and this alerted her. And then shit went down. Now, who's to say if she slept through that floorboard creak? I mean, maybe none of this would have happened. But I mean, then again, the guy still had a key, so he still had access to the house, so he would still be coming and going to fulfill his fantasy world, right? And over time, he found the gun that Troy had nestled away very carefully. Now, he took this for protection, and then he took it with him every time he visited the house afterwards. So obviously, I mean, if you're not planning on hurting anybody, you're going to leave that gun at home. Taking it with you is just asking for trouble. So Alvarez would show up, he'd park some distance away, and they'd walk over to the yard here. He would use the cover of the tree lines and all that to avoid like surveillance if there was any around the area. Now Jose said he was in a disassociated state of mind during the time of the shooting and the escape. He remembers fuck all about this night. So a disassociated state of mind is a mental process that disconnects one's thoughts, feelings, memories, or sense of identity. Now, the thing here is that most mental professionals believe that there's an underlying cause for dissociative disorders, like some kind of childhood chronic fucking trauma and whatnot. And funny thing is, this guy actually didn't have any of that. He actually had a good upbringing and all that. There was no family trauma or anything. And these are very controversial and complex problems here that actually need a specific diagnosis by a professional. And unfortunately, by the time he was diagnosed with all this, he killed some people. So some of these symptoms actually include like being disconnected from yourself, shifts in mood, depression, anxiety, memory problems, other cognitive thought-related problems, significant memory problems, and also feeling compelled to act a certain way. Now, this is all the ways that he felt. Now, him and his lawyer had tried to go for the whole insanity plea thing here, but defense knew that he was full of shit and he was fully aware of what he was doing and he knew the difference between right and wrong. Example on that is like sneaking around and shit. He disposed of the gun here, the knife, and his clothes the day after the murders. He did, however, plead guilty here to avoid a trial So this sped up his sentence, but I don't know, yet he didn't do anything to speed up shit over the years here when police were doing the investigation. The only time he came forward with anything is when he got caught. Now, Jose made direct eye contact with everybody who did victim impact statements. And now he remains in Central Prison, Riley. This is up at 1300 Western Boulevard in Wake County. Now, this place has like 1,104 prisoners at this jail here. Now, the sheriff that worked on this here, Mr. Page, he made a promise to the families of Troy and LaDonna French that he wouldn't stop until an arrest was made in connection to the murder of their loved ones. And he made good on that promise here. Now, the parents' burial site is like a mile away from where Whitley grew up. And even with this guy in jail, investigators say that this guy acted alone. But we just don't know. There's hundreds of different theories of what might have happened that night and who was responsible. And LaDonna French's parents, they're now in their 80s, I believe, Donald and Nancy Mosley here, they continue to pray for peace during their lifetime. They recently put their own gravestones next to their daughter and their son-in-law. Now their birthdays are present, but there's a spot left blank. This is for the dates of their deaths, whenever that happens. Now Craig French, this is Troy's brother, he said the families are at peace now, knowing that their loved ones are in heaven. Even during the investigation here, Whitley said that this is the time of my life that I need advice about life or what choices to make about money and school, and now I have to go on without my parents. Now in May of 2015, this was a few months before Jose's arrest here, the family celebrated the marriage of Whitley and John. Hunter gave away his sister, and Jose actually served as a groomsman. And it's a little bit fucked up. I mean, the guy who killed her parents, being a part of her big day and everything, and, you know, being around, consoling her over the years and shit, and he was the guy who killed her parents. Now, Hunter French chose not to talk about his parents' homicides over the years, but he honors them by fulfilling wishes that they had for him. Now, a month before his dad was killed, they had an idea for an Eagle Scout project. Now, this would incorporate their love for sports and the high school where his parents had fallen in love. So this was a heated ticket booth for the high school baseball team. He completed it here when he turned 18 years old. This was kind of a way to honor his parents that went to the school. A plaque on the booth dedicates his project to his slain parents. Now, Whitley graduated with honors. This was from East Carolina University. She did that with a degree in nursing. And she moved to Fort Worth, Texas with her husband. And she's been hired on at Cook Children's Medical Center. This is a trauma hospital. Hunter French graduated from Greensboro Day School, and then he attended college up in Wilmington. And he was just doing that while he thinks on a major here. He spent some time living with his great aunt and uncle, Faye and Carla Stone. So this was after moving around with various family members after his parents' murder. And there's a Bible verse here that's at the bottom of Troy and LaDonna's monument. It reads, "And so shall we always be with God." And with all that, folks, I guess some of the family's life went on, and there's a lot of people that still grieve about all this, but everything got wrapped up, and Jose Jr. now gets to spend the rest of his life in jail. I actually believe the judge that sentenced him told him that he was going to die in jail too, so I guess that's what he gets for being a douchebag. And with that, folks, I think that's all I got for you here. I hope you guys enjoyed this case, and after we hop off here, I'm actually going to add in a 20-minute 911 call from Whitley to police, so this is a little bit of a bonus for you guys that I found online, so I figured I'd add this in afterwards, and you guys can listen to that too. I want to say, stay safe. I appreciate you all. I mean, thank you guys for tuning back into Twisted Tales here. And yeah, no, it's been a shit month, but you guys keep me going, so thank you for all of that. And now you guys get to enjoy my outro by The Intoxicating Mind of Dr. Frankenstein. Have a good night, folks. I just want to give a shout out to a few podcasts here. The Josh and Polly Show, Eye Opener Society, they're fucking great. Nonsense and Deep Thoughts Podcast, The Bell Witch Podcast, Ouch, Was That a Ghost? Death Before Booze, Killing 15 Minutes, Haunted Escapes and Chris and Diane, Toke and Muddle, Weirdsdale, The Brum Plugs Podcast, Bad Movies, Worst People, Dark Mysteries, Haunts from the Cape, Dark Poutine, Trusting Evil, Real Men Hug, The Matt and Monica Podcast, The Carolina Storyteller, Round Table Mindset. And those are a lot of great podcasts that I listen to daily. And if you want your daily dose of death metal, check out Horda Cannibal and Face the Wheel. Those guys are fucking pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Also, you can check out my show on Metal Cross Radio here. This can be found on the We Love Radio app. And they have tons of upcoming bands here. They have a fresh rotation. They have my show on that can be heard every Thursday at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. if you're in Canada. And lastly, YouTube shows. Check out Metal Mastication. It's a great heavy metal, hard rock interview show here that's set in the kitchen. So all these guys get together, they cook, and he has numerous heavy metal artists on there. So it's pretty great. Check these guys out. Thanks for tuning back into Twisted Tales, folks.
Twisted Tales.
Right, I'm getting 911. Somebody broke into your house and shot your parents?
Yes.
All right, hold on. Ma'am, we're going to get somebody to you. Confirm your address. 791 Pinewood Road. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, calm down. Calm down. The dispatcher's gonna send you help, okay? Do you have any idea who it was?
They came in my room and they started jumping on me and they were trying to cover my mouth. They took my phone and they ran. They had a gun and my parents, they heard me screaming and then they shot my mom and dad and they ran out the door. I don't know how they got in the house.
They assaulted her and shot her parents.
Yeah.
What is your name? Ma'am.
Whitley?
I've got help on the way to you, okay?
Okay. Please hurry. Please hurry. Please hurry.
Ma'am.
Save me, Daddy. Save me.
Okay. Ma'am. Ma'am, I need to know where she's hurt at. Can you give me some descriptions?
My mother's been shot in the shoulder.
He's shot in the shoulder. Can you get some cloth or something and put on it, okay?
Okay.
All right. I need you to...
My dad has been shot.
All right, you need to put something on his shoulder. Were the subjects, did they leave in a car?
I don't know. They just left out my front door. I don't know how they got in.
They busted out your front door leaving?
No. They opened the lock and shut it. I locked it back. I don't know how they got in because all the doors...
So you don't know whether they're outside or which way they may have went?
They just ran. They had a hood on their head. I don't know.
Dark clothes, white or black?
I couldn't see. I couldn't see at all.
Okay, you don't know whether they're white males or black males?
No, I don't. I don't know at all. Daddy, where were you shot? Daddy, where were you shot? Daddy, where were you shot? I don't know where I was shot.
All right, do you see, is he bleeding?
Yes, I think he's bleeding from the shoulder.
All right, get something and try and put on it. Can you check your mother and tell me where she's wounded?
She was shot in the shoulder.
They're both shot in the upper shoulder and arm.
Yes.
All right, medic 7 and 10 and 140.
I'm really scared. Should I hide?
I know. How old are you?
I'm 19 years old.
All right, you got your doors locked.
Yeah, all the doors
I've
are
got it. We've got it. I'm staying on the line with you. We got every deputy in the county's coming your way as fast as they can. I know you are, honey. I know you are.
I don't know why this has happened to me.
Okay. So she doesn't know if they took anything. They were wearing hoods and left running on foot.
Yeah. They just ran out the door.
Okay. You're doing good, dear. Just try to stay calm. How old is your dad?
My dad is... my dad is... He's 40. I think he's 47. My mom is 45.
Okay.
Are they almost here? I'm really scared.
They're coming lights and siren, honey. They're coming as fast as they can, okay?
I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
I know you are, dear. You got every right to be.
Come back.
Well, if they know they didn't get away with anything, you just got your doors locked and then just stay there. Do you have a weapon in the house with you?
I don't know where my dad has. I think I know where the gun is, but I don't know where it is.
Okay.
I think I was shot in the arm. My arm is bleeding. I don't know.
So you were shot in the arm too?
I don't know. He didn't. I don't think he shot me. He might have cut me, but my arm is bleeding. But I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just worried about my parents.
Okay.
I'm scared that he's watching me. Daddy.
Okay. You've got it, ma'am. You've got to stay calm and keep bandages on him, okay?
I am. I have the towel under his shoulder, and hopefully it's soaking the blood up.
Okay, just tell him to keep it close to his body and not to move. Neither one, they don't move.
He doesn't breathe, and then he inhales very fast. Is that a bad sign?
He's probably in shock of what's happened to him, okay?
Okay, my mom, she's not making any noises. I don't want to go. She's laying near the door, and I don't want to go over there. I'm scared. My dad is laying in the kitchen.
He's laying in the kitchen floor. Where's your mom at?
My mom is right near the front door.
Near the front door?
Yeah, she's laying there.
Okay. All right, can you get to her to see if she's breathing?
She is
The daughter may have an arm wound. The father's shot near the shoulder. Respiration's irregular. Mother's down on the floor, not making any noise. Okay.
Are they almost here?
Well, the fire and the medic trucks and stuff are nearby. We got to let the sheriff's deputies try to get in there. Did they have handguns? Did they have rifles?
It was a handgun.
So they had pistols?
It was a handgun. That's all I know. I don't know anything about guns, really.
Okay. I mean, was it just a small gun in his hand?
Yeah, a small gun. He pulled it out when he ran down the stairs and shot my mom because she was near the stairs first. And then...
So they snuck in to rob and y'all surprised them?
Yeah, I had no idea. And my mom and dad were downstairs and I was upstairs in our room asleep.
Okay.
Are they almost here? Please say they're almost here. I'm scared to go.
Okay. As long as you got the doors locked, is your dad alert to tell you enough to tell you where his gun is?
Yeah, he's not breathing anymore. He's not doing the deep breaths anymore. His eyes are closed.
Or is he moving in the air at all?
He's not moving. He's not moving.
You say you don't think he's breathing?
I don't know. I don't think so.
All right, can you get, is there
He doesn't have a pulse. He doesn't have a pulse. He doesn't have a pulse.
He doesn't have a pulse.
Daddy! I'm giving him CPR.
She's initiating CPR on her dad.
I'm up to 35.
She's initiating CPR. She's doing CPR. She's certified.
Daddy, you okay? Are you alive?
Is he breathing?
He burnt.
See if he's moving in the air. Are you on speakerphone? Okay. You see your mother doing any movement at all?
No. He's gurgling. He's gurgling.
Okay, keep his airway open. Keep his airway open. Keep his head tilted back.
Compression?
Yeah, if you don't feel a pulse, continue till they can get there. Jerry. Hey, I got a feeling it went in here. The front door not moving.
Come on, Daddy. Come on.
Yeah, tell him to head that way. No, she just said they had dark clothes and hoods on, armed with handguns.
Hello?
I'm still here.
Okay, I'm here.
Is there a deputy there? Ma'am? Ma'am.
No, there's not.
Okay, don't let nobody in till I tell you to.
Okay. I hear them coming.
Alright, she hears sirens. Do not open your door till I tell you to, okay?
Yes, sir.
We got to make sure the deputies get there first and make sure that if they're still around, they can find them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when they do, there'll be a lot of people in there in a hurry.
I know.
You've been doing great, dear, okay? I know. Just keep you calm as much as you can. Do you need to start CPR on him again?
Okay.
Okay, is he doing anything?
No, he's just gargling, that's it.
Okay, you've got to get some air in him. Check him. If he's still gurgling and moving a little bit of air, you still need to help him.
Daddy.
Do what? Alright, there may be a highway patrolman outside. Wait for him to knock on the door and we'll let it go in. No, she doesn't have nothing. She don't know where it's at. Up under EMS admin. 15, dispatch. I got him in route.
Come on!
Ma'am.
Is somebody gonna come in? I just need somebody.
Is the law enforcement out there?
Yes, he is.
All right, if the law enforcement's out there and it's seen security, you can let him in.
He hasn't knocked on the door yet. Can I open the door?
If it's law enforcement, yes.
They came in.
Go ahead, Medic.
Right down the stairs. Run out that door. Can I open the door?
Keep eyes alert because they're in the area where the suspects.
I think that's all I saw.
Ma'am, is there a trooper inside with you?
Oh, gray hoodie. Yes.
One trooper inside. She's talking with him, but he's by himself.
Okay.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, then what's the trooper doing?
He's looking outside.
All right, he's checking around the residence now.
My arm is bleeding. It hurts really bad.
Is your mother alive, awake?
I don't think so.
Can you see where she's wounded at? Is it other? She may be shot in the head.
She's bleeding out of her ears.
She's bleeding from her ears. Okay.
Oh my God, my dad.
Ma'am.
Yes,
Okay, what you doing now?
CPR.
Okay, she's back doing CPR on her father.
He's still gurgling.
Okay, keep going. Keep going. Let them get in there. Make sure you get your hand under the neck and on his forehead and tilt his head back good to open his airway up.
Already in the house. Anybody else in the house?
No, it was just me, my mom.
Anybody else in the house?
I don't know, I don't think so. Nobody has come, nobody,
Where are they going in?
I was in my room, upstairs. All of a sudden, somebody comes in my room, puts their hand over my mouth and starts shaking me like this. I think they cut me or something. And then they take my phone, I think, and they ran down the stairs. My mom and dad heard me screaming.
First wife.
My mom and dad heard me screaming. And my mom was the first one down here. He pulled out the gun, running down the stairs, shot her. My dad was
Said he pulled out the gun running down the steps and shot her mom as she was passing her.
that lock. That's the only lock in that door. If you turn it, you open that lock and bring out the door. I just turned the door.
You didn't go out the door.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened. This door was locked. This door was locked. That door is always locked.
You can find it. You still won't find that?
Yes.
You can find it.
Mama.
I know. This is Tom.
Yes, sir.
All right, look, she's saying that the one is gone. There's two here. As far as I know, the scene secure have not cleared the house. If you want to go ahead and send them at this time, tell them to come into the driveway at the side door, and I'll stand by later, okay? Looks like you got two, definitely 10-7 at this time. The female's right here.
Okay, does the young female, is she wounded also?
Yes, she's got an injury, but I don't know if it's a gunshot or a cut.
Okay, is her father 1067? Because she was doing CPR on him.
It looks like both of them are. It appears that both of them are.
Okay, Teresa says possible two 1067s come in through the side door. Where's the deputies at now? They're at Ninewood. Medic running route 228.
All right, cut this light off right here. Stand by. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8. 2 8
be my grandpa. I don't know.
I want the call. Who's at the door? Who is it? All right. Come around the other door. Come around the spot right there.
He thinks the two adults are dead.
Only 257 when they do. She doesn't know if there's any more in the house. There's one right out front.
Is there a deputy on scene, Michael? Okay, troopers talking to them. They come around to the side door. Trooper,
Somebody around there.
they're checking the house. They're securing the house. County cars inside. I heard the radio.
I was going to keep on my dad because he was making really quick. He's making really long breaths. And
Can EMS and fire come in?
I was...
Roll them in, Johnny.
I think heavy enough.
Go ahead and contact me,
I hear them on the deputies and troopers said send them on in.
And look at it. No, county 6. Go ahead and have your own call in route.
He's asking on call investigator. Mark. County 8.
Go ahead.
County 8, this is Mike. The telephone's on speakerphone.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you go ahead and hang up?
Yeah, I'll try to.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and start isolating that audio too. We're going to need that.
All right, I'll tell Jerry.
West Tales.